Throughout history, tales of mythical creatures have captured human imagination, painting vivid pictures of fantastical beings that roamed the earth. While many of these stories remain firmly in the realm of fantasy, some mythical creatures are rooted in reality. These creatures, often shrouded in mystery and legend, have fascinated scientists and historians alike as they uncover the truths behind the myths. Number 1. Vampire deers. A vampire deer sounds like the stuff of legend, but Chinese water deer, and several other types of fang deer, including the Siberian musk deer, grow elongated canine tusks in place of antlers for many of the same reasons other types of deer have antlers. Water and musk deer are often referred to as vampire deer because of their long canine teeth, which resemble fangs, particularly those of male deer. These deer are not unusually aggressive toward humans, and certainly do not drink blood, but the unusual appearance of these small deer species that grow fangs instead of antlers have earned them the nickname vampire deer. Vampire deer use these fangs in ways that are remarkably similar to how other deer use their antlers. Males use them to fight with and intimidate other males in the fight for territory, and as one of the typical mating rituals during their annual breeding season. Most vampire deer are extremely small. In fact, most have an adult size of around 2 or maybe 3 feet in height. They're also reclusive, like most types of deer. Number 2. Kraken. The description of the kraken referred to a large octopus-like animal that when floating could look like an island in the sea, measuring more than 2 kilometers. There were also allusions to its large eyes and the presence of several giant tentacles. Another aspect that was mentioned by sailors or fishermen who said they had seen it was that when it appeared it could cloud or darken the water where it swam. The stories also pointed out that if it did not sink the ship with its tentacles, it could plunge violently into the water to cause a great whirlpool that ended up sinking the ship anyway. Stories about the kraken also attributed both seismic movements and underwater volcanic activities to the beast. These led to the emergence of new islands that occurred in areas such as Iceland. Also, the strong currents and the big waves were supposedly caused by the movements that this creature made when moving underwater. But not all these legends highlighted negative aspects. The fishermen also reported that when the kraken emerged, thanks to its enormous body, many fish came to the surface and that they, positioned in a safe place, managed to catch them. In fact, it later became popular that when a man caught a large catch, he was asked if he had fished on a kraken. Number 3. Hobbits. The hobbits of J.R.R. Tolkien's imagination have no counterpart in our world. The short-statured creatures depicted, of course, in The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings trilogy must remain in Middle-earth. But a groundbreaking anthropological discovery did reveal that our world once had its own species of hobbits, different than Tolkien's, certainly, but also startlingly similar. Homo floresiensis, popularly named hobbits, was a species of ancient hominin, humans and our closest ancestor and kin species, that lived on the Indonesian island of Flores. Their discovery was announced in 2004, based on a skeleton found in Lingbua Cave called LB1. The diminutive hominin stood under 4 feet tall and had a mix of modern and more archaic physiological characteristics, including brains just a third the size of ours. Archaeologists have found in the same cave stone tools resembling the Oldowan style that predominated beginning around 2 million years ago. For this reason and others, it's still unclear which species of hominin they evolved from. It could have been Homo erectus, or perhaps even more ancient ancestors like Australopiths. Whatever their genealogy, it's likely that H. floresiensis lived on Flores for some time before disappearing around 50,000 years ago. Number 4. Chupacabras. Chupacabra, in Latin American popular legend, a monstrous creature that attacks animals and consumes their blood. The chupacabra only recently joined the vampire in the bestiary of blood-sucking creatures. Chupacabras were first reported in 1995 in Puerto Rico, where they were blamed for attacks on goats, sheep, and other domestic animals, supposedly leaving uneaten carcasses that were drained of blood. Early reports described a creature that stood upright and resembled a large reptilian kangaroo with huge red eyes. No actual specimens were found, and skeptics suggested that witnesses may have been influenced by the Hollywood science fiction horror film Species, 1995, which features a monster of similar appearance. But other sightings were reported throughout the Americas and as far north as the United States. Number 5. The bunyip. The first reported sighting of this creature was in 1818 in New South Wales. And, as with most stories about cryptids, the tale has grown taller with each telling. So much so that even the word bunyip has been adopted into Australian slang. Rumored to lurk in the swamps, billabongs, and creeks of Australia is none other than the bunyip, a cryptid with a cute little name but a terrifying appearance. Amphibian-looking and almost entirely water-dwelling, the creature has been baffling residents of the Great Down Under for centuries. Number 6. Dragons. Dragons have appeared in numerous fantasy stories from The Hobbit to Game of Thrones. But just where do these mythical monsters come from? Dragons are among the most popular and enduring of the world's mythological creatures, believed to have been real for centuries. Dragon tales are known in many cultures, from the Americas to Europe, and from India to China. They have a long and rich history in many forms and continue to populate our books, films, and television shows, as brave heroes routinely fight to slay the beasts. The belief in dragons was based not just in legend but also in hard evidence. Or at least that's what people thought, long ago. For millennia, no one knew what to make of the giant bones that were occasionally unearthed around the globe, and dragons seemed a logical choice for people who had no knowledge of dinosaurs. Number 7. Werewolves. Long before Twilight put Jacob on the map, werewolves have been the subject of countless movies, books, and monster tales. In fact, much like ghosts, witches, and vampires, the werewolf has been woven throughout mythology for centuries. Dating as far back as the ancient Greeks, werewolves and other shapeshifters have been used in storytelling to not only help explain the unexplainable, but also to serve as a warning about what can happen when humans allow their dark side to take over. In fact, Greek mythology tells the story of a confrontation between Lycaon, a cruel king, and the Greek god, Zeus, in which Zeus ultimately punishes Lycaon by turning him into a wolf. If it sounds familiar, it's where the term lycanthropy comes from, which stands for the supernatural transformation from human to werewolf. Even if by some small chance they were, Wood says they'd likely be quite a bit different than what we get from the movies like An American Werewolf in London, and certainly nothing like the yellow-eyed beast that Michael Jackson memorably turns into during the Thriller video. That's it for the mythical creatures. Let me know in the comments if I missed out on any. Thanks for watching and subscribe for more videos like these.